So like most customers that approach us, Lochcarron are exposed to fluctuations in the energy market. In the UK, we've got some of the highest electricity prices in Europe, but we also have a very volatile market because our electricity prices are tied to gas prices, and gas prices are tied to global events as a supply commodity. So the fundamentals of this for Lochcarron were a start on a decarbonisation journey, and then also coming out as much as possible from the electricity market. So it's investing in a capital asset in order to reduce the operational costs of the business. As that asset depreciates, it pays back over and over again with this cheap electricity. And it also means that when the company is looking at the risks that it's exposed to, it doesn't have to consider anywhere near as much the risk that something happens in another country which causes gas prices to spike, which causes our electricity prices to go up and can make the cost of production far more expensive. So it's financial resilience and decarbonisation all in one. So I think the main thing here has been getting started because we actually got the order for this quite some time ago, and thankfully Anna and the team at Lochcarron have been really great because we got a whole load of orders at the same time. So we've completed some other projects, some quite large projects before we started this one, and it's really nice to work with customers who we can be upfront with like that and who are quite understanding that there might be a delay before we can get started. So I think that's really been the main challenge here. I think there's a few differences here. The obvious one is that the electricity bills will come right down. So through the summer we'll be close to providing all of the energy requirements of the site, and through winter there's still a contribution being made to the electricity. And that's the easy kind of spreadsheet answer to what the benefits are. But I think solar also is often the start of a journey to understanding a decarbonisation process. So there's a lot of gas still used on the site here, and now that there's cheap energy coming from the roof, there's an opportunity to look at how other fuel sources are being used and see if there's ways that they could be electrified in order to make maximum use of the solar, but also to get some of the other costs down and then start to have real big impacts on the carbon footprint of the production. Environmentally, we're often talking about decarbonisation here, and we've got to be a bit careful to avoid greenwashing as well in these scenarios. So the principal thing in a solar PV system is we're reducing the Scope 2 emissions of the business, which means the energy that's purchased from outside. So Scope 2 emissions are not fuel that's being burned by the business itself, but it's fuel that we're paying somebody else to burn. So in this case, the power stations that are powering the grid, which is producing the electricity that's required for the site. So by using a PV system, there's just far less electricity drawn from the grid, and that's the principal environmental benefit. Then the secondary environmental benefits can actually really add up as well. For example, now we've got cheap electricity that's guaranteed in price for the lifetime of the system, like 30 years. It becomes a really good time to electrify the fleet. So rather than having a diesel van, let's maybe when that comes up for replacement, look at an electric van. Or if there's gas-powered heating systems, maybe they could be swapped to air-to-air or air-to-water heat pumps, which could then use more electricity and reduce other fossil fuel consumption. So I think there's primary environmental benefit, but then solar just seems to be this kingpin that allows all these other projects to make sense and stack up. So if you're looking at your electricity bills, seeing the risk of exposure to the electricity market, and you happen to have a nice big roof as well, then that's certainly something we can look at. You'll generally get a payback period of between 3 and 6 years on a commercial PV system in the current market, and there are plenty of options for financing that as well. So even if you don't want to take cash out of the business, there are ways that we can put together a business case. So if you think that that's something that will stack up for you, then certainly get in touch and we'll do our best to help you out.